Hello. I haven't really gotten a chance to really put my podcast together, but everything just takes a hot minute because I just jumped off the cliff putting this together. So, but I did want to say that, you see a lot of people posting. I had, like what I was saying before, I had nothing, and then all of a sudden they just started doing so much better. And they don't, and everybody's just, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? Like, what did you do? And I'm eating my own hair. And they're just like, I just worked at it. And everybody's like, well, that's not helping me. And I've been seeing so much of that on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and just everybody's comments on their success. And everybody gets so frustrated because nobody's going to really share their success. Well, I was listening to one of the pastors that I really like to listen to on podcasts on Spotify. And, I just kind of put what he said in relation to what people say in rodeo. The rags to riches, and everybody wants that rags to riches story. But I took what the pastor was saying and related it to this topic, and it made a whole lot of sense. And the topic that he talked about was not everybody's fit will fit you. And what he was relating it to is not everybody's outfit. What you see on somebody else, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want it. So you go to the store, you buy it online, and you look at it, and you're just looking in the mirror, and you're going, ew, this isn't me. Like, I liked it on you, and I wanted it because I liked it how it looked. And I wanted to get the same response. And so you get it, and you're not getting the same response. You're not getting the same outcome because it wasn't meant for you. Somebody's story, Charmaine James, going to a horse sale, finding a horse, all of a sudden took her to the NFR. You're not going to get that story because that story is not meant for you, okay? I've posted about finances and stuff like that. It's a balance. And I feel like not a lot of people are really talking about, like they do, but they don't go into a lot of detail on their struggles. Well, maybe they just don't want to talk about it. They worked hard. I mean, have you seen those people in the very beginning? Like, I don't even know, because I don't know, because you've never heard of them. Okay, so let's think of that. I never heard of Haley Kinsel. Didn't know who she was until the NFR came up. A lot of people knew her coming up, but nobody knew about her. Well, I mean, depending on if you have a social media marketing manager, you're not going to always post what you're working on. And I'm trying to include that. That's why I made this podcast, to talk about everybody else's stuff, but mostly to talk about my experience. This is my journey, my experience, the real moments of what's working for me. And right now it's nothing, but so I can't do what everybody else is doing because it's not for me. I have to do what works for me within the means that I have, and I have to put in the work. I mean, that's what everybody says. I had to put in the work, so that means you're gonna have to get off of social media, because that time that you're on here scrolling, making posts, documenting everything, like, look, I'm 5 minutes in. I'm 5 minutes into talking about what I'm seeing, but I see this as helping somebody else, So what everybody's doing, your neighbor, your sister, your mom, your dad, they've been in the NFR, you're trying to go to the NFR, trying to do what they're doing, and it's not working. It's because it's not meant for you. What they do this shirt won't look good on you because it's not meant for you. I'm not saying anybody can't wear a t-shirt, but what you're trying to become something that you're not, and that's not meant for you. You guys all, it makes sense. So you need to do with what you got, because that's what you have. You have to work with what you got. You got to make it work. You got to put in the time. It's a job. This is a hobby, but getting somewhere in a hobby, you got to put in the work. So you pick and choose. I mean, it's like horse training. I mean, I guess this whole thing and figuring out where you go, you gotta, when you listen to people talk, you pick and choose how you can relate it to what you're trying to do with where you want to go. I don't think necessarily can deal with rodeo or anything like that. I think this is a broad, that I just put it towards rodeo because that's what I'm doing. And so I have to do, for me, what works for me with what I have to put in the time, the effort. I have to take account of what my horse can do and what she can't do. I have to be aware of what I'm able to do and what I'm able to not do within the means of what I have also financially. So that also means, like what I said before in one of my posts, I just made a post, and you got to make it to where you can make goals easy but challenging, but you got to make it to where you're seeing progress. Because if you're not going to see progress, it's not going to help you. You're going to get frustrated. It's just, you're not getting anywhere. And you get mad, and then it's going to make it to where you don't want to keep going because you're always frustrated. You're always let down. It's always the bad. So, I'm at a part, like I've said 700 times, that I don't have a saddle. But I still need to get somewhere. So I'm literally training my horse, Barrels, bareback, and trying to teach her cues as I would on a saddle, bareback. And I'm trying to put miles on her still too. I know everybody's like, oh my God, you don't know, because like I'm trying to, my mare is smart enough to where she can handle this type of pressure. And that's another thing. Can your horse handle it? Can your horse handle this kind of pressure? Can you handle the pressure? Can your body handle the pressure? Can you mentally handle it? Like, there's so many factors, and you gotta push everybody's negativity out and what they say, because they're not gonna be for you. And you hear it all the time. Like, but it's true. Your sister's not going to be for you. Your mom's not going to be for you, okay? If they are not for you, they are instantly against you, and that's my motto. If you are not for me, you are against me. It is black and white, okay? Literally, it's just black and white. And if they're not for you, they got to go, because they're going to just be ball and chain, and they're going to really, okay, like God spoke, and there was life. Okay, when you speak, it's going to affect you a million different ways that you never even thought. So when they talk like that, it's going to ruin what you're trying to do, because they're speaking over what's going to happen to you, and that could be another reason why you're not moving forward. So that's why you run into so many different challenges. That's why most of the time you just got to be quiet. I know you want to share everything that you have good going on, like, oh, I got a horse, oh my gosh, now we're gonna do this, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work out. I just feel like that's a lot of reasons why people who are like everything that I just kind of touched base kind of quickly, I feel like that's what a lot of people, why people don't really talk about. That's why you don't hear about them. That's why their hometown knows them. That's why people who they've met along the way knows them, but you didn't know them until they became somebody. They document things kind of here and there as they go, but they're not really documenting like they are now. You don't see their stuff blowing up like you do now. So I guess hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully like, I really think that's why people don't really share a lot of their success. They say where they were, and those people that were involved or saw where they were are only gonna understand and be like, you know, she was down here and now she's up here. Those people that were there in that time are gonna see and be like, no, like, that's what really happened there. And it's very hard for everybody to believe that you're down here at once upon a time ago, because when you get up here, that's a massive difference, but that's a different mind frame. You had a mind frame here, and now you're completely different up here. And to get to this mind frame, you have to get out of this mind frame. And how do you do it? It's a jigsaw puzzle. And that's what is very difficult. So I feel like when people do that, they gotta listen to podcasts. They have to do small things to change your mind frame. So it's a rough battle out there. I know that trying to do something because everybody's like, life is short. Okay, great, cool. Got it. I got it. So changing your momentum and everything, and you are gonna just do this and then drop. And then come up for a second and go back down. And yes, everything is a learning experience, but don't keep doing the same thing. Okay? Just don't. Just because it worked for you, you ran up a hill with socks on, and it worked, doesn't mean it's gonna work again. Well, so that's just kind of like what I'm seeing. Also, me going through this journey myself, I am noticing that my mind frame is changing. My attitude is changing. My personality is changing. It's more of a mind frame growth, and talking about it and working it out and sharing my thoughts about this is also changing the way I think and how I approach things in the arena and outside of the arena. So I feel like it's a massive war in your head, and the closer you get, the more at war you're going to be in your head. And that's where I'm at. And so you're going to get, your motivation is going to be there, and then it's not. That's where the war is coming in. But I'm tired. That's where the war is coming in. But then that's one day that I can't. I did that so much. I was going hard for 3 days. I just need a day off. Okay, but then it turns into 2 days. You see? So, I mean, some days you gotta do it tired. You gotta keep going because your horses aren't tired. You're moving, you're going, everything's trying to run. I mean, it's just, once you get to a certain level, it's hard. It's very hard. So you just gotta put everything in bubbles and in buckets, and you just really have to focus. Like, I hyperfixate on things, and when I do, I get a lot done. Like, and then that's where I get going. Like, that's when things just all of a sudden start happening for me, and I'm right here, and then I'm right here, and then I get lazy, and I'm back down here, and then my motivation is gone. And so I gotta build, get my mind frame right again, and then I hyperfixate and I come back up here. And I feel like that's where everybody loses momentum, is because, now I don't have to do anything wrong. Because now you made it to the next level. Now you gotta keep that momentum. And I feel like this is the trick. This is this gold. You get up here. You hyperfixate like I do. I don't know what anybody else does, but I hyperfixate bad. And then I'm tired because I made it up here. And then I get lazy. And then everything just starts to go back down that where I end up lower than when I was up here. And if you can see it at that point, you gotta stop yourself before you get too low. And I'm climbing back up, but now, like, I feel like I'm getting fed up, tired, annoyed, frustrated with myself, disappointed, mad, the whole list. And I don't like that as motivation. I don't think that's a good motivation to have, because getting fed up, tired, annoyed, and everything like that, that's not a good motivation. It's negative. And I don't like that. So that's where I'm at. So I need to take that and take advantage of it, because it's what's going to work to make me hyperfixate and get up here. Once I'm here, I need to create a different mind frame, different plans, and I need to keep the hunger and my head down and move up to the next one. And you got to get some grit as you get going up there. And I really think that's it. Honestly, I think that's just the key. And you got to get a different motivation. I'm here. Okay, now that I made it here, because I got pissed off at where I was at and I wanted to be just done with it. Now that I'm here, okay, I can't be pissed off all the time because it worked for me to get here. It doesn't work. So now you got to have a different motivation, a drive, little goals. And they're got to be challenging, because once you get going, it's going to get harder. So you got to keep, like forward motion, got to keep going. And you got to change your mind frame every time. The goals have to change. How you're going to achieve them has to change. You have to have a different outlook on how you're going to accomplish these goals. You can't go in with all the same kind of personality and everything, because it doesn't work that way. I really feel like I'm just breaking into something and I'm cracking the code of what's going on here, because I think people just get fed up, like me, and then you're up here. And then you get here, and you come down.
I've been looking for you to let you know making lesson space ready.
Okay, I'll go in.
Laura's gonna be here in 15 minutes. Are you gonna get on Sassy?
Yeah, I'm gonna get on Ryder.
We got 15 minutes before she gets here.
Okay. So, but I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. That's it, because there's people coming over and opportunities do come up. And remember, you have to keep up with your opportunities. And I'm gonna go ride my horse and work on some barrels, because we have a neighborhood lady coming over who has trained a lot of PRCA barrel racers. And so, again, opportunity. Ooh, that's another good one. Opportunity to help you go up. Motivation. You gotta have opportunity. Change your mind frame and all that kind of stuff. So I hope this wasn't too boring. I kind of talk kind of slow because my mind, I have like 700 million different things going in my brain, and I lose track of where I'm going, because I go on a rant and I lose my focus. So if I talk really slow during this one, it's because I'm trying to stay focused on what I'm trying to talk about and not lose my main focus point. So hopefully that was helpful, and you guys you keep going. That's just all you gotta do. Is it worth it to you for that? Remember, what works for them isn't gonna work for you. And so I think that's just kind of where, that's just how it goes. That's just how everything works out, and the cycle. So thanks for watching. If you made it all the way through, I really do appreciate it. Hopefully it was helpful, and we will talk to you guys later. I really do appreciate you guys watching, even though I know it's just a few, but that's a few that could be helpful advice. And we will talk to you guys later. I'm gonna go ride my horse.